Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to my review of tonight's edition of Smackdown. And I thought tonight's Smackdown wasn't a good show tonight, though pretty much was meh tonight. Of course, this is the show, this is the Smackdown after Clash of Champions, and it just wasn't that good of a show tonight. But the show opened up with Daniel Bryan coming out. He welcomes the crowd to SmackDown, and he announces what the big announcement was on Raw last night about the Women's Royal Rumble, and he announces the main event for tonight. It'll be a six-man tag. It'll be Jinder Mahal, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura, Randy Orton, and AJ Styles. And then Shane ends up coming out, talking about what happened Sunday, and he says, he watched it back and says that, that Daniel tripped over him and broke the count, and Daniel said to him that it was an accident, and he just got frustrated, and Shane then says to Daniel he doesn't need any protection from him. Daniel ends up telling him, that Shane does, that Shane does need protection, and that, he says, oh, Shane, he says to Shane, he eats, breeds, he eats and breeds SmackDown Live, and that, he was just protecting their idea, and he says that, he threatens Owens and, Sami's, lives and career. And Shane says to Daniel to be very careful with them because, both Owens and Sami, might stab him in the back, and that, Daniel shouldn't favoritize them on, coming from a business standpoint. And Daniel says to him that, he should fire him for what he did, and, he doesn't want to see Shane turn into Mr. McMahon. And Shane says to Daniel that he respects and trusts him, and he wishes him good luck with the show tonight. And pretty much that ended the segment. And it was a pretty decent segment with Daniel Bryan and Shane. Kind of enjoyed it. And then we had the first match tonight. It was Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin versus the Usos. And this was just an okay match. I mean, to me, the matches tonight on SmackDown felt like, that the booking for, tonight's show was just, very lazy. And like I said, this match was okay. It was back and forth between Gable and Benjamin. And you had Gable and Benjamin win the match. They ended up pinning the Usos. But it was just an okay match. Wasn't great or perfect though. And then after that, we had Flair. We had Charlotte coming out saying how Sunday she retained her title at Clash of Champions, and she goes on to say that she has the honor of carrying the title over her shoulders, and she goes on to say she is proud of the fans and congratulates them and the women's division, and she says whoever wins the women's Royal Rumble, whatever, it's a woman superstar from SmackDown, if a SmackDown woman superstar wins the women's Royal Rumble, Charlotte goes on to say, she will gladly defend her title at WrestleMania. And pretty much like what I said last night on my Raw review, maybe they're probably gonna, they're gonna do, maybe, if a Raw woman superstar wins, they will get to face Alexa for the Raw Women's title, or if some woman superstar from SmackDown wins, then they get to face Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title. And Naomi ends up coming out. She congratulates Charlotte about her win on Sunday, when she defeated Natalya to retain the SmackDown Women's title. And Naomi then announces that she will be in the Women's Royal Rumble and that she will see Charlotte at WrestleMania. And the Riott Squad ends up coming out, and Naomi says that the Riott Squad won't be in the Women's Royal Rumble. She ends up calling them chicken heads, and pretty much that got the crowd to call them chicken heads. And the SmackDown held tonight from Jersey, from Newark, New Jersey, at the Prudential Center. And so the crowd was just calling the Riott Squad chicken heads. And she wants, two members of the Riott Squad to step in the ring with her and Charlotte. And she says to one of them, that her and Charlotte will teach them how to rumble. And so it ended up going to commercial. Then when SmackDown came back, that set off the match. It was Charlotte and Naomi versus Sarah Logan and Ruby Riott. And this was just a typical women's match. Nothing great, nothing special or perfect about it. It was back and forth between them. Charlotte was pretty good in the match. Naomi also. Then you had Charlotte and Naomi win the match. Naomi ended up hitting the rear view on Sarah Logan to score the win. But it was basically, just a typical women's match. Nothing great, nothing special. And then after that, we saw the New Day backstage. They were dressed up. Kofi Kingston was dressed as, a gingerbread man. Xavier was dressed as a reindeer. And we had Big E as an elf. And, they were just walking backstage. They had, of course, the pancakes. And Aiden English and Rusev, approached them. Aiden English was dressed as a snowman, and then Rusev was dressed up as, Santa. So they approached the New Day, and they say, to them that nobody wants their hideous shirt because New Day had, their, new shirt, their new Christmas shirt. And so Aiden and Rusev said nobody wants that. And, Rusev ends up saying, everybody wants a Rusev Day shirt. And, the crowd was behind them, just like how they were at Clash of Champions. Just like how the Boston crowd was at Clash of Champions. They were chanting for Rusev. They were chanting Rusev Day. And then we get Aiden sing. We get Aiden singing. And Aiden says, they challenged New Day to a contest. Him and Rusev. And Aiden goes on to saying that New Day is their conquest. So it was a pretty funny backstage segment. It was fun. And then you had after that Dolph Ziggler coming out for his United States Championship celebration, and he goes to say. He says to the crowd that he told them so that he was going to win the United States title, and he goes on to say, why was he in the match in the first place, and he goes on to say it's because of this, because he was holding up the United States title, and he says it's the start of his second U.S. title reign, which I completely forgot about. I forgot that he won the U.S. title back then in 2011 at the Capital Punishment pay-per-view, and pretty much he goes to show that, and it plays a clip of when he beat Kofi Kingston and became the U.S. champion for the first time, Capital Punishment 2011, and then he goes on to say it's just getting started tonight. And he also says that, he's a 5-time Intercontinental Champion. And then he shows, the clips of, his Intercontinental title reigns, where he first won it on SmackDown in 2010, and he also goes on to show that he captured the Intercontinental title for a second, third, and fourth time. The second time he won it at SummerSlam 2014, and then on Raw, and then at TLC. And they also show that he won it. I forgot. Also, he also won it last year at No Mercy in 2016. So he won it. Yeah. So he won it those 5 times. But he won it for the second, third, and fourth time in 2014. And last year he won it for a 5th time at No Mercy last year. And then he goes on to show, when he won the Money in the Bank briefcase, when he won it at Money in the Bank 2012. And he also plays a clip of when he cashed it in on Alberto Del Rio on Raw in 2013. It was the night after WrestleMania 29. That was when they were in Jersey at the Izod Center. You had that hot crowd throughout the night, which that crowd made that Raw. They made Raw that night in 2013, the night after WrestleMania 29. They made it an enjoyable show just from the crowd. Because if you watch that Raw, or if you remember that whole crowd was just on fire throughout the night. And then he goes on to say that, he says that he goes underappreciated, and, for all this, he goes on to say, for all the stuff that I did, I still get unappreciated. And he goes on to say that the crowd is not worthy for his presence. And we just see him leave the title, the U.S. title, in the ring, and he just leaves. And I don't know if this is a work by Dolph, or he's just relinquishing the U.S. title altogether. We don't know, but to me, I think it's a work. I think Dolph is just doing a work on this. But as for the segment itself, it was pretty boring. It was just Dolph, complaining and showing clips of his title reigns. So, but I like Ziggler. I like Dolph. I think he's done a lot for WWE, for this business, and and I respect him for that. I respect Dolph going out there. He won all those titles. He won 2-time U.S. champion, a 5-time Intercontinental champion. Yeah, but I respect Dolph for that. He did what he did for the business. So, but as for the segment itself, it was pretty boring. And then we saw after that, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens walked into Daniel Bryan's office, saying that, they said that, they appreciated Daniel for what he did for them on Sunday. And Sami says to Daniel, to be careful of Shane. And Owens says that he and Sami got the last laugh on Shane's Sunday. And what was funny is when they walked in, they offered Daniel some champagne, but Daniel says, "Oh, he doesn't drink." And then the segment ends with Daniel saying, that calling Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, saying that they're both delusional, completely delusional, and that they should both wipe the smiles off their faces, because they were smiling. They were really happy with Daniel after what he did on Sunday. So he tells them to wipe the smiles off their faces before he takes matters into his own hands on them, and possibly firing them or something. So that's pretty much how the segment ended. But it was a pretty decent segment with them. And then we had the next match. It was New Day, Big E and Kofi Kingston versus Aiden English and Rusev. This match, it was fun. It was like a so bad it's good kind of match. It was back and forth between them, and it was just them wrestling. It was just them in the ring with their costumes still on, which was funny. You had Aiden English take the pancakes. They took the pancakes, put it on the announcer's table. They put whipped cream all over the pancakes. They put a cherry on top, and they were gonna hit Kofi Kingston with they were gonna hit Kofi Kingston and have Kofi's face go into the pancakes with the whipped cream, but it ended up being reversed, and Aiden English went face first into the pancakes with the whipped cream, and Aiden had whipped cream all over his face, and it led to New Day ended up winning the match with Big E jumping from the top onto Aiden English to score the win. So, but all in all, the match, was so bad, it was good. It was so bad, it was funny. So pretty much that was basically the match. And then we had the main event, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jinder Mahal, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn. And this was a pretty decent main event. It was back and forth between them. It was just them, going. Sorry about that, but I was saying, it was just, them going at it. It was pretty much, just them putting them in a tag team, in a 6-man tag. Styles, Styles had Jinder on Sunday, and then Randy Orton and Nakamura had Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens also on Sunday. So they just put him in, a 6-man tag, and it was a pretty decent main event. It's back and forth between them, and you had the Singh brothers try to get involved in the match later on. The referee ended up telling the Singh brothers to to get out of ringside, to go to the back. And then we just saw Randy Orton take the Singh brothers, and he does the the thing that he does on the second rope, where he ends up taking his opponents down. He actually took out both of the Singh brothers, and Randy Orton, Styles, and Nakamura got the win. Nakamura ended up in the Kinshasa on Sami Zayn to score the win for him, Styles, and Orton. And that's how SmackDown ended. How SmackDown ended with the three of them just standing in the ring. So, but it was a decent main event. I really enjoyed it. So, but yeah. So, anyways, that's it for my review of tonight's edition of SmackDown. Thank you all for watching, and be sure to give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and until the next video, I'll see you all later.